Hello and welcome to the latest Retail Systems video interview. I'm Michelle Stevens, the Deputy Editor of Retail Systems, and this time round I'll be joined by David Beer, the Service Delivery Leader for Europe at Toshiba Global Commerce Solutions. I'll be talking to David about retailer payment systems and their role in delivering a good customer experience. We will also be discussing the impact of mobile and the importance for retailers of balancing compliance and innovation when selecting a payments platform. Hello David, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for your time, it's a pleasure to be here.
So what do retailers see as most important in a payment system?
Well, I think we have the very traditional things such as compliance, security, the performance of the payment system in terms of its reliability to make sure that they're delivering great consistent service to their customers in the store, and also the performance in terms of transaction throughput, because the last thing you want to be doing is keeping a consumer waiting at the point of sale, waiting to pay. The other things that are really coming into the requirements, though, are very much transforming the payment system into an overall point of interaction with the consumer. So, for example, we're seeing things such as advertising at the point of sale as used by McDonald's. So where they're using that to drive the latest offers, promotions, brand awareness, things like charitable awareness of which is very important for different retailers. We're also seeing things such as the use of technology to gather consumer feedback about what's going on within the store. Getting real-time information is a really difficult thing. So, as a payment technology can provide that sort of offering to them. And then we obviously have things such as mobile vouchers, and digital coupons, gift cards, etc., which help derive consistent loyalty for consumers into the stores across different channels. Obviously, we also then have making sure that they get the lowest operational cost for the payment system.
And why are payment systems so important in delivering a good customer experience compared to all of the other solutions that retailers use to run their stores?
Well, a couple of fundamental reasons. Firstly, we are seeing and have seen over recent years a reduction in the amount of cash. Now, there is no suggestion that cash is going away. Nobody is saying that. Nobody predicts that. But we are seeing a greater use of electronic payment methods such as cards or other systems such as PayPal, for example. So that means that you have to have a point of interaction. An electronic point of interaction, a payment system interaction. So therefore, you've got more consumers using it. Therefore, it becomes more important to the retailer. But we also know that the better experience that a retailer has within a store, the more they will spend within that store. But at the same time, it only takes less than 3 poor experiences to turn somebody away from that store and maybe shop somewhere else. So if you're using a payment system more regularly, it's becoming something which the majority of your customers are using, then you need to be able to make sure that it is really reliable and performant and offers the value that you want to provide to your consumers. Therefore, it becomes more important in your business.
Now, the consumer adoption of mobile wallets, that's been quite slow up until this point, despite the fact that the technology has been around for a few years. Which retailers do you feel are using these well, and what can other retailers do to encourage adoption?
Well, you see some successful implementations in a small number of places, and these are typically with the organisations that have a regular level of customer from the same consumers, and they're able to offer extra value to their consumers, their customers, via that mobile wallet system. And they're being successful with it because those consumers are using their stores or restaurants often enough to make sure that they want to have it. If somebody is shopping at a particular store very irregularly, why would a consumer necessarily see the value of having a wallet specific to that store? And there isn't really on the market today a mobile wallet offering which is going to be adopted widely enough to justify retailers supporting it and consumers having it on their phones across a number of different stores. So where could retailers be able to use it a lot more regularly and drive adoption is when they are of a retailer that has that big enough presence with regular traffic. So for example, airlines with people that travel an awful lot, it makes sense. It makes sense for them. So any of those stores that have enough regular presence with consistent customers can probably drive adoption and enhance their consumer experience with it.
And how do mobile POS solutions impact the retailer payment system?
Well, so we're seeing quite a number of pilots and implementations around mobile tablet-based solutions in store and with mobile payment technologies associated with them. And there's lots of different technologies and different approaches to achieving it. But the key thing that retailers are wanting to do with those offerings is enhance their consumer experience. They're wanting to increase the value they're providing to their consumers. Now, if you're providing an increasing value, you need to provide a system which is reliable and supportable, but also consistent, because all of the market research that we see shows that the consumers, particularly in the social location mobile world, really wants to have consistency of offering and support and engagement with retailers across the various channels that they're using. So it's very important, therefore, to make sure that anything you do with mobile devices, you're able to offer the same level of consistent service and support and engagement, performance, reliability that you would see via your normal fixed point of sale. So you have to make sure that your mobile systems interact effectively with in a way that the other things that you do in the store works.
And what are the payment challenges from an international perspective?
Well, fundamentally, the challenge internationally is due to history, because of the way the banking system in the different countries has grown at different periods of time, and the different standards that you then have within those countries. It means that you can, as a major international retailer, you can quite often have a different payment system in every country that you do operate in, which means you have duplication of cost, of operation, etc. And you're not necessarily able to offer the same consistent service to consumers that are travelling internationally, or moving around countries, which is a challenge. The other point, though, on there is that we are now seeing the progress around cross-border acquiring, and some major retailers working in that direction. We're supporting some customers doing that at the moment, and that is helping them achieve value, reduce cost of ownership of the payment systems, from the end-to-end processing capability, but also being able to deliver consistent value across international borders for their customers.
And of course, compliance is important. So is it possible to balance the requirements of compliance with the business demands for increasing innovation and customer value?
Absolutely, and it's really important when aiming to do that when a project around a payment system starts, the full range of requirements are taken into consideration. So for example, if a project is really looking at how do you try and simplify the achievement of PCI compliance, that can be a very big, significant project. The point-to-point encryption standards, which have been coming out into the marketplace over the recent periods, offer some interesting perspectives on where retailers can go. But they also add other elements of complexity in terms of how the retailer needs to be able to deliver their solutions. Now, if the areas of innovation aren't necessarily taken into account, for example, mobile POS, advertising, mobile location, mobile wallets, if they aren't taken into consideration at the same time as a project around compliance, then it's possible that a retailer could go down a particular direction with their project, which would then make it more difficult for them to come back to a solution which gives them a lot of innovation capability in the future. So it is absolutely possible to deliver both the solutions that can have the compliance capability and simplification and lower costs of ownership and operation, whilst having innovation. But you have to be able to make sure you consider things properly in the first place, so that you then don't take yourself down one direction that makes implementing the other direction more complicated at a later date.
Thank you, David. It was great to speak to you today.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.